So why do you carry that flag? Because this is my heritage. My family fought to save their farm under this flag. Who was working that farm?
My
family was. Who was working the farm? They were poor. Do you know how much a slave cost back then?
It is truly appalling to see the lengths some people will go to defend treasonous, racist losers. Yet it's still sadly not that surprising given the deliberate effort to whitewash the realities of the Civil War and why it happened in the first place.
Keep it flying? And why do you want to keep it flying?
Why would anybody want to erase our heritage?
Well, some people would say that flag symbolizes racism, it symbolizes slavery, and they might have some valid points there.
That's their opinion, they're welcome to their opinion if they want it.
Are you pro-slavery or against slavery?
I have no comment, but thank you for the interview.
Case in point, even when presented with the clearest moral choice possible, they can't help but do the mental gymnastics necessary to avoid confronting the reality of their position, providing further evidence that this behavior has been taught and passed down through the generations.
The blood in my teeth, the blood on my hands, is no comparison to the Southern blood that runs through my veins.
Joe Lindler was hit during the brawl. To him, racism has no part in the flag.
But I'm going to tell you one thing, I ain't sitting down. This will just make me walk taller.
We do have tension, we do have feelings, and we do have emotions.
Just because 9 people lost their lives in a church in Charleston, which I'm not downplaying at all, still a tragedy, has nothing to do with that flag standing up there.
Now, recall the push to remove Confederate flags from the South Carolina State House following the massacre at the Emmanuel African Methodist Church, a historically black church in Charleston that left 9 black worshipers dead at the hands of a white supremacist shooter. The flag would eventually come down for good after the one and only Nimrata Haley changed her mind following the shooting and public pressure, which brings us to legendary college football head coach Steve Spurrier.
I came out back in 07 or 08, something like that, at a function saying I hope we remove the flag, but it took a while. Unfortunately, it took that terrible shooting in Charleston to get it started. We all commend, praise our governor for leading the move to have it removed. And I think it helps our state immensely.
Spurrier made the statement just days after the flag was officially removed, but his comments from an awards dinner almost a decade before this press conference showed how passionate he really was about the flag's removal. He was quoted saying that a game against Tennessee featured on ESPN's College Game Day was ruined by some clown waving that damn Confederate flag. It was embarrassing to me, and I know embarrassing to our state. I realize I'm not supposed to get in the political arena as a football coach, but if anybody were ever to ask me about that damn Confederate flag, I would say we need to get rid of it. I've been told not to talk about that, but if anyone were ever to ask me about it, I certainly wish we could get rid of it. Having someone with the credentials as Spurrier say this while coaching the state's largest public university can't be understated. And while he rarely publicly dipped into politics throughout his career, another recent event forced him to speak out yet again.
Everybody says hearts and prayers go out. Why in the world in America are you eligible to walk into a gun store and buy an AR-15 rifle?
Because gun manufacturers, the gun lobby, and Republican politicians at the federal and state levels all financially benefit from our country's gun culture and the endless cycle of violence said culture has created. To them, profits always outweigh human life. Now more from Spurrier.
They should have a sign. If you need a gun for mass school shootings, here's your AR-15. We'll give you a discount. Why don't they just put that sign up there? That's the only thing they're used for. You don't need them for self-defense. And yet we sit here and say, oh, blah, 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 blah. We're messed up in America to allow sick people to have these guns. And they ain't going to stop. They ain't going to stop until they get all these guns out of the way. You can carry a 6-shooter, protect yourself, which we're all for, but these AR-15s are for mass shootings in the schools, and we sit here and allow it to happen in America. Makes me sick.
Trust us, it makes us sick too. And we want nothing more than the common sense gun law reform Spurrier is suggesting to be put in place. But until our elected officials get serious about quelling corruption and serving us voters instead of their donors and their own self-interests, we may never see the reforms we so desperately need, but that won't stop us from fighting for them. As of the 2022 election cycle, Gun rights lobbying groups have drastically outspent gun control lobbying groups and have thrown millions upon millions of dollars into ensuring that we will continue to see more gun violence in the country. And so far during this year's election cycle, the top 9 gun rights lobbying groups like NSSF, NRA, and GOA have thrown a combined $6.4 million at exclusively Republicans, with Donald Trump leading the pack at around $730,000 received, with Rafael Ted Cruz, Speaker Mike Johnson, and the deplorables Elise Stefanik and Marsha Blackburn rounding out the top 5 this cycle. The icing on the cake is that nearly 50% of current gun rights lobbyists were once federal government employees. The issue of gun violence has and always will be explained by following the money. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.